Media is a very powerful and important tool in society. Now, in this system in America, they know that they must control everything that shapes the thought process of every group of people. If they do not have control on even just one part of the society, they have a problem. So they're going to get themselves involved in every group, any kind of media, no matter what language you speak, because they have to feel that they have to indoctrinate you. They have to deceive you. They have to control you, because media can be done in a way to do that. It can make you hate people of different groups. It can make you stereotype other groups of people. It can also make you hate people of different religions, different sexual orientations, socioeconomic class. This is what media can do, and they know this. But media also can make people revolutionize. It can make people get up off of their feet and do something wonderful. It can make people turn inward, look within their own community, and fix themselves. This is why black people who have always spoke up has always petrified them more than anyone else, because they understand that through the foolishness of preaching, people can be saved. Now, even if you say, I'm going to create my own organizations, and if you aren't careful, then these people will come in and they will buy it up, because they don't care if you have a black owned media. They just want to own it and control it. Now, they do it through two ways. Either they outright buy it from you, or they want to come in as an investor and get some sort of controlling stake so they can shape and mold what they think black folks or Hispanic folks or whoever else say to their group. Now, this article that we're looking at here, this was wrote about 2 years ago, but it's still relevant because a lot of people don't even know this. They say 6 things you thought were black owned. Now, there's a lot of people that support different things they think is, for black people. But at the end of the day, white companies are the puppet master behind it. Now, as we scroll down, the first thing that we look at is Essence Magazine. Now, how many people knew that Essence Magazine was not owned by black people, even though it's nothing but black, black, black all on the cover? Now, let's say in 2013, Essence Magazine editor Constance White was fired as corporate overseer. According to White, Essence was being pushed in a direction that she felt was designed to dumb down the black woman in America, focusing on fashion and beauty tips than more serious issues of the day, like relationships within our community, why we fight against each other with that, why we can't have a conversation. Obviously, from the last video I posted, you can't have no conversation about male to female relationships, because that's why a lot of times I don't get into that conversation, because a lot of y'all don't know how to talk to each other. It's so much easier to make videos about white supremacy and all things around there, but don't talk about y'all relationships with each other, because y'all ready to literally pick each other apart. But that's still a conversation need to be had if God has blessed you with the grace to do it, because I don't have the grace from God to do that conversation a whole lot with you guys. But we have finance that we need to talk about, how to handle money, credit. We need to know about simple things like life insurance. We need to know about home ownership. We need to know about raising our kids, blended families, so many different things that we need to talk about. And fashion and beauty tips, that's not really much of nothing that's going to help you in your life. Also, you got to know how to navigate America with the system of white supremacy. So it says, it's safe to say Essence Magazine now represents the black woman that white people would like them to become, because they own it. If they own it, then they control the narratives of that magazine. Now, they said the next one, Ebony Magazine. Okay. So they said in 2011, Ebony was bought out by JP Morgan Chase, the same company that used to mortgage your brothers and sisters to slave owners back in the day. The same company that funds private prisons, they own Ebony Magazine. Now, that's an announcement marked the end of a 69-year period in which the company was owned family owned. Last year, Ebony received backlash for using a crack photo of the Huxtables, a black family effort to demean Bill Cosby over sexual assault allegations. As you can see here, these people, when they buy black media, they are going to do things to mess up what the legacy is and going to push their own narratives. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a anti-black, but sure, it's going to be an anti-black male rhetoric that's going to come across these magazines. Because if you keep the hate on the black man, if you make him the devil, if you make him the villain number one, without the black man, you can't have a black family. They know this. They understand that the nucleus of the civil rights movement, the nucleus of who we are, has been the black family, black man, black woman. So their greatest fight is to keep black men and black women apart from each other, fighting each other, just like it's so easy to do just for a simple post on Facebook. That we are just can't get along in a lot of ways. They know this, and they're going to keep exploiting that. Now you look at number 3, XXL Magazine. Now, I know a lot of people probably thought that was black owned. It's an XXL Magazine. It's owned by Town Square Media. It's touted as the new voice of the hip hop generation. Now, you don't see no white people on the cover of these magazines. Maybe Eminem every once in a while, maybe Macklemore every once in a while. But you won't see, it's mostly black. Okay. So you have all the white gatekeepers of what they consider black media. Now, number 4, they say Huffington Post Black Voices, but we kind of knew that. I mean, it's Huffington Post, but they say they caught, it was called blackvoice.com. It's owned by Ariana Huffington, and the website has writers from different race addressing issues within the black community. They say Huffington, they talking about she's a white woman, came under fire in 2012, which said Michelle Obama wasn't black enough. And here's a look at the board of directors in 2016. Not a black woman on the crew, but yet they are saying that, what the conversation should be for black people. Now, I'm not saying they don't have black writers, but this is the editor's meeting, not a black woman in sight or a black man in sight. How I'm going to have a website called Black Voices and I don't have no black people? That'd be like me getting a freaking website called Asian Voices and there's nothing but black people on the board. No Asian people at all. How am I know about the culture or whatever? I mean, this is the things that these people get away with. And we as black people don't clap back by saying, I'm not supporting that, because if it's not created by us, it's not for us, period. It's going to be something slighted to us, but you're going to be pushing your narratives inside these publications. And last but not least, well, second to the last, is The Root. Now, we all know this. For most people don't. The Root is owned by Univision. It was sold in 2015. And Univision prides itself on being an American media company serving Hispanic America. Univision's roots can be traced back to 1955 when Raul Cortez started KCOR-TV, a Spanish-language independent station in San Antonio, Texas, which eventually changed the station's call letters to KUAL-TV in 1958. But remember, it is not black-owned. It used to be black-owned, but they sold it. Now, last but not least, BET. Now, if you don't know BET is not black owned, then, you know, like I said, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, BET is not black owned, isn't really the news. The network was founded by Robert Johnson in the 80s, but in 2003, the company was sold to Viacom, which also owns your favorite love and hip hop station, VH1, MTV, and the sale made Johnson one of the first black billionaires. But in the process, when he got paid, I remember BET when it used to have things like Teen Summit. I remember Caribbean Jams used to come on with I think it's Caribbean Jams with the lady Rachel. She used to play all the Caribbean music. I remember Hits from the Street. I remember Video Soul with Donnie Simpson. Definitely Bobby Jones Gospel on Sundays. Cause every Sunday before you go to church, Grandma always cut on Bobby Jones. You better not have nothing else on that TV Sunday morning but Bobby Jones Gospel before you go to church and Sunday school. So, you know, and BET was the host of all of that. BET was truly a show that you can watch, you know, a lot of black shows, things that really interest the black community. Had BET News that really, that's the first time I've really seen a news show that catered to what we see about it as black people, because, you know, white people have their representation all over America. No matter what channel you turn to, white people can see how they feel about the world, but black people don't have that. And this is why it's important more so than ever that we protect Black owned media that we have, stay true to the Black community, and it's the Black community's responsibility to support that as well. Because I'm going to tell you what gets Black people in trouble in business is that we as a community don't come through and support that avenue. So you either start having problems with taxes, you start having business debt, and these people come in, they say, look, I'll pay off all your debt and give you some money. And if they really like what you got going on, they may say, look, I'll buy you out. You can stay on board. We'll pay you a hefty salary. Just keep doing what you're doing. But they own it at the end of the day. And this new brand of media on social media is the wave of the future. So even though what we're building, it may not seem much to some people. It may not seem great or grand or insignificant or whatever. But the powers that be are paying attention to social media because we can get out to the people a lot faster. We don't have corporate handlers. We're not bound by the FCC. We're not bound by political parties, and we can't talk about certain people. No, we say whatever we want to say. So they want to have a stake and control in that. And the people on Patreon know I did this video months ago telling them about an investor that wanted to try to come in, and it was a Caucasian investor, and he wanted to invest money. And I ended up turning that down. Why I turned it down? Because he was not going to take control of what I'm building. So that's why when some people say, you know, who tries to troll, say I'm about the money. When I was about the money, I would have took the white man's money. He was offering it, and I didn't take his money. So yes, I'm on here talking about Patreon every week. And if I wanted to sell out, I could have just took the money. But see, I'm not like that because I'm about the true message, and I'm about the community. And I feel deep in my heart that I got about 3,000 people somewhere. I don't know where they at, but if I can get 3,000 people to support us and just and help us build the show, we can do this way better than these folks could ever do. Because I don't call names publicly, but the people on Patreon know who's watching this channel. I've shown you, you know who I'm talking about. It's big time players watching this channel, but they don't say a word to me. But, you know, guys on Patreon, I brought the receipts to a lot of that. But what he was saying is, rest assured, we are Black owned. We're going to stay Black owned. And I'll let this thing go before I sell it to them. Because you know what? They never sell us crap as Black people. They don't give us anything. That'd be like Walmart build up their store and then they go sell it off to Oprah Winfrey. Black people are the only group of people that build something and then sell it off to them. We don't have nothing. We don't have a legacy to pass to our children, whether it's media, whether it's hair care products that we create and make a brand out of. It's just so many different things that we have created and we sold off. And then our children are stuck with nothing. The reason why a lot of people in the white community have money because they understand legacy. And you got people like Donald Trump, who's rich, and all these other ones who's old. You notice they keep trying to make more and more and more money. Well, they didn't make all the money they could make. But at that point, they're making money for their children's children. And when they go on, they got to worry about their kids being good because they did everything they could in their lifetime. Whereas Black people, we create businesses, we create media companies, whether it's magazines, whether it's websites, whether it's news shows, podcasts, and it's successful and it does well. Pass that to your children. Don't give it to these folks. And if you want to sell it to somebody within your community that's going to do the right thing with it. Because these folks, they want to get in control and they want to own everything. And here we go, that we are cut out again. Everybody has a right to their opinion and have their own media. We need to have ours. How we look at the world should be put out there. We shouldn't be having to filter the world through the eyes of CNN, which is white owned, or MSNBC, or Fox News, all these different ones that are white owned. We need to have our perspective, an unfiltered perspective, speaking how we feel, truth to power on whatever situation. And the only way we're going to do that, you talking about Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street didn't have no white people owning nothing over there. It was all Black owned. And you got to get that in your mind. Black owned everything. And you have a right to own your media. You have a right to own where you shop. You have a right to own where you go to the doctor and so on and so forth. You have a right to that. There's nothing wrong with that. Every other group controls their resources, their media, and everything else. But when it comes to Black folks, we don't do that. And I understand because we grew up with a mentality of just surviving. We didn't grow up with a mentality to thrive. So we literally have to reprogram ourselves to think that way. But I can tell you and rest assured with you that any deal I deal with in business is nothing to sell us out. It's going to be about the community. It's going to be about the message. And if nobody is not with that, I'll turn stuff down and I'll just keep struggling and scraping. I just believe that the people should support not these folks coming in with their millions of dollars, because the people can do a whole lot better than these folks coming in and just want to water down the message and get you to start promoting things that we don't believe in and saying, well, you can't say that because, you know, we're going to offend. Man, forget that. We put the message out and we don't want to become a BET. We don't want to do that. Yeah, these folks offer you billions of dollars, but then what? Your people have nothing anymore. You know, all that garbage BET promotes. That's why I don't watch that station, because it's garbage. I'm not going to watch that. I'm going to watch something that's going to educate me, edify, you know, us as a community, and get me to think a little bit. At one point in time, BET was that, but they're not that anymore. So be careful. The media you're consuming, be very, very careful. You know, like that article, black men are the white people of black people. That wasn't a black owned anything to put that out. Understand that. That is Caucasian owned people having their little black handlers to do their dirty work. So pay attention to that, brothers and sisters, at all times. Continue to create businesses. Let's support each other. You know, just like I asked you guys to support us on Patreon, I support many people on Patreon as well. I don't ask you to do nothing that I don't do. So it's important to do so. Also, to the people who are subscribed, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Now, I did some research in my analytics. 67% of the people that's watching this channel, at least this month, aren't subscribed. I appreciate you watching. Thank you for watching. But subscribe so you can get every video that we put out. You coming back faithfully. It's free to subscribe, and also hit that bell that's there. That way you get all the notifications when we put different things out. I just want to put this video up before I got busy with some other things. Then I can come back and do a bunch of news stories I got for you guys. But understand, media is powerful. These folks want to own it all. We need to have our stake in it, but we have to protect our media at the same time. We have to guard it with a bunch of pit bull dogs, Rottweilers, everything else to keep these people away. We have to do that if we think our media is important to us. And it's just like what the scriptures say. Where your money is, your heart will be also. So if we're not putting funds to support our black media, and there's many people you could support, not just me, then our heart isn't there. I know my heart's there because I'm supporting many people out of my finance. I know many of you listening are supporting other people as well. But if you can, help us hit our 3,000 member goal on Patreon for a minimum of $2 or $5 a month. And we will, as long as we got the people support, we will continue this thing to keep going, because with the people, you can't shut down the truth.